A person who's kept in conditions like I am very unfortunately does not know if they have any friends. My friends, if I have any, are not allowed to step forward or are too afraid to. And I don't blame them, because a friend of mine was murdered. Someone I admire was murdered. My deaf advocate was attacked and raped. A bystander was murdered because it was close by where I would hear of it. And I am being held as a sacrificial animal in a snuff film syndicate, which is criminally insane. You would think the police would look into it, and the fact that they don't and won't and refuse shows either that they are involved in it or simply don't care, which is another good reason for people who may be a friend to stay away, and I don't blame them. Nevertheless, this isn't for the people who say they're my friend. This is for anybody who may happen to be my friend. It's obvious in looking at my videos, one thing is very clear, that the people who tortured me as a child went on to play with my head, as they put it in Pittsburgh, to give narrative spin and dialogue to their snuff film. Their culture of cultivating and heisting a man's life as curios that they manufacture by hot-wiring the idea, not the reality, but the idea of John Lennon somehow being either the madman behind it, which is what I believe, or a subtext of the script, or pretext of the script. Overtext of the script they will monger. I don't want you to get killed by them, so I have to choose my words carefully. These people are sadistic maniacs who watch everything that I make. And because it's obvious that they were just playing with my head after torturing me, administration chooses to pretend they don't understand that it happened. Administration chooses to pretend that they don't know that it's going on. Administration chooses to pretend that they didn't know and laugh, and that this is why they denied me the right to go to school, why they took away my health, why they took away my belongings, why they slave labored me without pay, why they refused to compensate me now, why they forced me to have contact with people who they know have injured me in the past, why they slander me, is because it's obvious that the only thing that's going on is that the people who tortured me went on to play with my head as narration, as dialogue for their machine. Administration could see that perfectly clearly, but chose to pretend that they couldn't, so that they wouldn't have to do anything about it. So they wouldn't have to explain why they wouldn't let an honest student go to college. So they wouldn't have to explain why somebody who was conspicuously deaf and the son of senior faculty was denied entrance to the school for the deaf and never taught sign language. So they wouldn't have to explain why the girl who went underground to teach me sign language was herself attacked and raped. Administration doesn't want to have to explain that, because it's so obvious that all that was going on was that the people who tortured me went on to play with my head. Now, I'm not selling you an ideology. I'm just talking about a scene from a movie. From a book. I don't think it's in the movie. If it is in the movie, it wasn't done well enough to really be as striking as it was in the book. But in The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. Oh my God, you said Ayn Rand. I did indeed. In The Fountainhead, not to sell her philosophy, not to cross with UW dialectical ripper-hatters. And because there's a scene in the movie where a man describes the ultimate horror, trying to reason with a criminal whose mind has been eaten out, ravaged with hate and evil. It's exactly the way I feel when trying to reason with the criminal imposter, Ringo Starr, who is criminally insane. He authored all of these murders and sadism from an office that he claimed was Amnesty International. And administration knew all of this. And they pretended they didn't. Why did they pretend they didn't? Because they were getting off on Richard Starkey playing with the mind of someone who had been tortured as a child. And they didn't want to admit that that was that obvious. It was perfectly obvious that that's what was going on.